Hello and welcome to the 8th episode in the Farleigh Park build series. There's quite a few changes to go over, so let's get straight into it. So, looking at the park here, but I actually want to start with the car park, which has had all of the spaces put in, and in the case of the green car park over here, I've started going through and adding all the realism bits, like the numbers on the signs, the lights, the coloured banners and all the trees and stuff. Still got to do it with the other ones, but I have decided on our red, yellow and blue colours for the banners. And I've also just started doing some work on like the actual lanes and stuff going around the car park. Around here you can see all of the paths that lead from the car parks back to the entrance, and especially around here I've at least started what's going to be a footbridge over the 4 lanes of traffic here. So people who have parked over here can basically get over this road without having to run across it. And I've also put in space here where we're going to have a couple of lifts on each side, so people who can't use the stairs are still able to get over the road. And then all the paths meet up here and lead straight down towards the entrance. I'd imagine there'd be someone here who'd split the crowd, half going this way and then half kind of going down this way, to use the other ways, the other paths leading towards the entrance, which, very small change. I've changed the pathing underneath the path cover to be the same texture, so now when you zoom out it doesn't kind of switch to that really weird red path that was everywhere. Not really much going on in Farleigh Avenue itself. Of course, this is like a this area's I build when I have an idea, so right now it's still pretty much as it was in the last episode. And most of the park is as well. I have done this building here in Outpost 5, that building is complete now, and of course I'm keeping the rest of it a secret, but I now just have 2 buildings left and then a bunch of media to create. There's also been a few small updates over here in the spooky area, and I'm mostly just doing some theming now around the queue line. This is like a small example of what you can expect from this queue line theming. And that's just one part I've done around the back here. And eventually this will kind of be the same idea going throughout most of the queue line, and yeah, it's coming along quite nicely. I think once I got this half done, it'll be most of the spooky area complete, so that'll probably be the next episode. Will be hopefully having a majority of this all done now. Moving on to the adventure area, if we start over at the back here, I've started doing some more of the theming around on this side after the was it Junior Woman, I guess, because you don't actually go upside down on the dive coaster. So I've gone and put in all the ruins and the bushes and stuff and all the foliage. We'll bring it, like, continue the theming down this way, but I need to do all the fencing around the queue lines and stuff. There is this little section I've done for the spinning coaster. I'm quite happy with it. It looks pretty cool. And that's like the part that goes out over the water here. You get a nice view of the coaster going around the back there. Moving on kind of down this way, this is all pretty much the same as it was in the last episode. And yeah, as I said, still need to do all like the fencing and the buildings and stuff around here before I can complete all of the theming. This station building is not going to be very easy, it's quite complicated with all the various different bits that it needs. But I've managed to get the transfer kind of all sorted. I think it's a lot more realistic now. And of course we'll have ride photos for the spinning coaster right here. But the main change in this area is I've got some shade covering some parts of the queue line, which I thought was a very important addition. And also the entrance here, I've done all the buildings now. So we have our ride photo booth, which you can see from this side, and then we also have a little food shop here which has some gulpy and some pizza. And so that like completes this little half of the adventure area, which is this section, the lakeside. I think the only thing still left now is just finishing up this side of the maintenance building, and then that area is like complete. And then the adventure area is moving along quite nicely, so this and the spooky area are probably around a similar level of completion, and I'm hoping to get one of them done for the next episode. Which one it's going to be I'm not sure yet, but hopefully one of them. But let's move on to the main change or update for this video, and that is the steampunk area. Not much of an area, but I have started doing all the planning. I wanted to do all the path work first, because I knew that would be a very important part of how the area looks. And this is like the first time I'm like, wow, yeah, this pathing system is like so inferior to the Planet Coaster 2 one. As in Planet Coaster 2, obviously I'd basically remove all these gaps in the path and create these nice open plazas. But I think I've done the best that I can with this pathing system. So let's actually go over this. So from this side you'll enter here, and you enter at the midway point of the height. You can kind of see better from this entrance. There are 2 wall pieces below, 2 wall pieces above, and the entire area is basically dug out 8 meters into the ground. And what it means is that we can get a super immersive area that you can kind of walk down into without being too tall against the rest of the areas. So this will be fairly easy to cover up with trees, and in this case here a nice rock facade. The pathing itself, obviously it's got ramps everywhere, so it's fully wheelchair accessible, and there's also a couple of stairs in other spots. This one is quite a nice one because you basically walk down and you'll get an amazing view of the coasters in the first drop down here. In some of the gaps we'll have buildings, bits of theming, but most of the theming here is going to be the facade that's going to go around the outside. And of course there's going to be a few indoor bits like the coaster station, this part of the queue line, as well as this part of the queue line for our flat ride, which is moved over from the maintenance area, which is where it was. So yes, this has now been installed into the park, and I mean it's so steampunk, it's kind of had to go with it really for a flat ride here. Nicely tucked away in the corner, which I think is pretty cool, and it's got like a nice bit of pathing here, so you can basically stand here and watch it go around, which I think is really cool. So yeah, moving on from that, this kind of is connected through a pathway around to there, and then you've got the rest of the pathwork, and this will be the entrance to our RMC hybrid coaster. And the queue line will kind of wrap itself around here, around the coaster, before going inside to this little cattle pen and staircase up to the station. In terms of what's actually built so far, I've got the station, the transfer track which will be here, leading to our maintenance shed, which will be probably very unthemed around the outside, and the road into that shed literally leads straight into the staff car park, which is great. And it's got a second lift hill, a smaller one here, because the finale will basically run along the facade, along this section here, into our brakes, round the corner, up the lift hill, and then along the transfer track and round into the station. So really happy with that. Round here we've got the exit of the ride, and this will be our wheelchair lift for people to get up into the station. And that is pretty much the steampunk area. Mostly pathing for now, but the ride itself, I know it's going to go into a lift hill up here, probably around the same height as the hotel. I'm hoping to use the hotel building itself as like a way to block views of the ride from outside, although you'll probably see it from kind of round here and stuff. That will go up and it will kind of drop down. There's a few elements I've planned. I want to put an overbank over this entrance, and I also want to do a cool airtime hill going straight over the area entrance. Ride entrance. What am I saying? And around here is kind of the first idea of what the facades will look like. This of course is the max height. I can probably go a bit higher with a couple of the sections, but I'm going to kind of detail it and change it all up and have very Rookburg style. Definitely my main inspiration here. And if you go on this side, this is what it's going to look like from the outside. Well, mostly like this, where you can just kind of see the brick walls kind of behind the trees. And there'll probably be a double layer where the inner facade runs where that needs to be, and then there's like a neater facade around the outside. So it means that all these kind of weird bits like this are nice and hidden from the public view. And yes, this will be a really nice area entrance, and because you enter at the middle, you basically walk in and you'll basically see the entire expanse of the area from higher up, and then you basically get to walk down into the area and to explore it. And as I said, it will be fully immersive, although you might just be able to see that hyper from above. Might just be able to see the hyper above the facades, although I was thinking I can kind of vary the height of the facades to hide various things like the skyflight. They might put a little bit of a taller section there that will just hide that off really nicely. But yeah, that is pretty much going to be it for this episode. Quite a few changes, and hopefully the next episode will have an actual area complete. My time recently has been focused on contest submissions in Planet Coaster 2, like Polar Coaster, and what I'm currently working on for the Corvus contest. So not as much time into this, but once the Corvus project is all done and submitted to that contest, it'll be full steam ahead with this. And I'm probably gonna step back from contests from a bit, unless they're really interesting ones. Yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe if you want to see more, including a monthly update from this park. With that said, I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye!